I have no idea if this is working.
Okay, hold on. I'm just going to make it
Should
up as we go.
be.
Yeah, well, we're live on Instagram, Sarah.
Well, that's great. We're probably just there staring at the camera for the first minute. We should trust the
No,
process, but we haven't done it in a while now.
I'm looking at
Yay!
us. We're right here. All okay.
Oh God. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Double D's live podcast. We had an impromptu break for 3 weeks. Murray, it's actually been 4 weeks since we've spoken on here. It's a bit crazy, isn't it?
Oh my word. That is crazy. That's life for you there now, Sarah. When we talk about real life, that's what it is right there.
Life has got mental. Life has gotten mental. First and foremost, have you brought a drink to the table?
Oh, yes, I have.
I was saying before we went live, I was like, Mar, I'll be 2 seconds. I need to go to the toilet. And I was like, you know, the way there's a few things that you do before you sit down at your desk and you go live. I'm like, right, drink. I'm like, normally I'm like, pee. And then I came up, sat down and was like, oh, crap, I forgot to pee. I was like, I have to go do it now. I have to. Now that I thought of it, I have to go do it.
But you'd have to, because you'd be thinking about it the whole way through it, and that just takes the good out of it, Sarah. That is not
But I didn't forget the drink.
Oh, what are you drinking?
It's a pink gin again. It's the same one I got the last time, but it doesn't look very pink.
No, it looks a different colour this time.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the tonic I used.
I don't know. I have tried a passion fruit martini, Aldi's finest. But I thought I was being quite delicious. They are delicious. I didn't have much fruit today, so I was like, oh, I'll pop in some fruit. But I went a bit overboard, and now there is giant lumps of fruit. But it tastes good, so I'm going with it.
You're choking on the fruit.
I'm telling you, the best way to have it, Sarah. So,
Exactly.
what has happened in the last 4 weeks?
Oh my God. A ton, but yet really nothing. Like probably the biggest thing was that the girls had hand, foot, and mouth. So I woke up one of the mornings and I was like, oh, I looked at Paige, she had a few spots there, and I was like, oh, chicken pox. Rang the doctor. They said, yeah, it could be chicken pox or it could be hand, foot, and mouth. So I was like, right. Preschool said they didn't have anything, no breakout or whatever. So I didn't really know for a couple of days, and then I figured out just by kind of time and process of elimination that she had hand, foot, and mouth, and then of course then 2 days later so did Brie. So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, they were good because they didn't have temperatures, they weren't sick with it, you know, they weren't even in terribly bad humor, like, do you know what I mean? So they were actually fine. They got a few little spots in their mouth and stuff like that. So I think they kind of, touch wood, got away. I hear some kids just really, really struggle with it, so that's really not nice on them. But yeah, I was dreading kind of like isolating with them. I was like, I don't do well when I have to stay in the house. So so it was, they were fine, and it did pass. But they were good. The horses, they are all in now. We are well and truly into our winter routines. They all came in really well. I managed to get most of them by myself. I needed Emma to give me a hand to get Xena in. Obviously, she'd only been in the trailer once, and I was loading her straight from the field. She's not trained to the head collar yet, and I was like, this is. But I did it. I did it with her one of the days. Spent about an hour, and then just walking her in and out of the trailer, herself and Zara. And then the next day, did it in and out of the trailer again, and then put the ramp up and down. And then she went in, and that was it. She was home. So she's been.
That'll crown her. It'll absolutely crown her.
She's been a cheeky little devil, but great crack. Great crack all the same. Great crack.
Oh, she always are.
What about you?
Where do I even start, Sarah?
Yeah. Talk about flying from one end to the next.
So, as we said on our last one, I had started a new job. It was all very shiny, new and different. So basically, I am working in Dundrum on Ice pretty much every day. Now, I haven't been in the last couple of days, and it has been a nice little break. Not going to lie, it is a whole shiny new world, and I think I've learned more about myself and my management skills. and my people skills in the last couple of weeks. I am very, very used to working with horses. We'll just put it that way. I'm very used to like Shane rang me the other day, and like I love it, and I actually genuinely love it. I love being up there, and I slag about learning a lot, but I have actually learned a lot about myself and my gut instincts and my people managing is very different to what I would have thought I would be. But my social battery runs out very quickly. And I have to kind of remind myself that this is a fun place to be. People are there for the crack. They're there to enjoy themselves. And like you get the loveliest, like I've discovered a whole shiny new love for babies on skates. They're just the cutest thing in the whole entire world. Oh God, they're adorable. But I do have to, like, coming home in the car now, like I like to turn on my book, and I will ring Porrick and I will tell him that I'm on my way home, and then I like the quiet for a little while. And I don't know if I was just used to being in the yards and I could have that quiet time on the horses, and that was my little headspace and my my little time out from the world, I suppose. But it's funny now, I've really noticed like my social battery is a non-existent by the time I get home. And I just want to sit in silence for a little while, and then I'm okay again. Then I go again, I'm all right. Like, and I build back up. Yeah. But it's definitely, it's a shiny new learning curve now, I have to say. It's great crack, but it's some learning curve.
Yeah. You can at least identify what it is, and it's not a fact of it's the job or the travel or even the hours or anything like that. You're just saying it's my social battery, it's run low, it just needs to recharge, and then I'm good to go again.
Exactly. It is literally just my social battery. Like, I don't mind driving. I quite like it. I'll stick on the book and I'll tip away the finest.
Same.
Like some of the even not even the people that are coming into skate, some of the people that are working up there have the most amazing backstories and histories, and like you're looking at them and like I'm 20 years older than all of them. Like they call me their work mommy, and like their stories are just fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Like just amazing. Like to think that there's such, you see, I think we forget sometimes, right, that we're in the equine industry because we love horses and we want to be there for the horses, but they want to be there because they love the rink and they love the ice, and they talk about the ice like we talk about our horses.
Really?
Oh, 100%. 100%. If I am told that the ice is beautiful one more time, I'm like, it's ice. I don't get it. I don't understand. Oh, genuinely, they're
I swear, I don't know why I'm so surprised by this, because I know like it's a sport and of course people are passionate about it, but I don't know why I just think it's just seasonal. Like it's only here for a short period of time. Obviously there's other rinks, like it's not just
it's the mad. Like all of so they do like lessons on a Saturday and Sunday morning, and they're absolutely jammed like. And then so many people talk about having to drive to Belfast because that's the only rink that's open all year round, and how amazing it is to have all of these other rinks that are open then for the winter, and they get to do the sport they love, and they genuine, like you can see it, they light up when they talk about it. And then like, and so how do you skate? I don't. I just come here and manage some stuff, but I don't skate.
What are you doing here? I remember as a kid, we used to get on the bus. Now, not often, but we used to get on the bus and go from Swords to Phibsborough. There used to be a rink in Phibsborough.
Yeah.
And we used to go there. Yeah, that's mad.
Oh, something like it is. It's Laura has come in. Laura Jackson, me too. My social battery is non-existent. We're in it together, Laura.
I think that's part of the reason, though, why, and sorry to jump back there for a sec, but I think that's part of the reason why we are in the equine industry.
Oh, 100%.
It's the reason why it suits us. And I've also figured out then with kids, and I don't know, maybe you can relate back to this more with Fionn. I'm sure he's much quieter now, but like, I like when John comes in the evening, sometimes I'm like, I need quiet. Like, I'm like, my audio set now, and you see, I'm going to say sensitive hearing. I don't think I even have sensitive hearing, but like, when we were building the house, if John was about to make noise, or even the blender, if that was going to go off or anything like that, he'd say, Sarah, ears, and I'd cover my ears. Like I'd have sensitive, like it would really kind of annoy me, like pierce me. And now with the girls, and especially now that the two of them are playing, which is great, but it also comes with the arguments and the screeching and the noise that I'm like, oh my God, the noise level. And I'm like, horses, peace, peace.
I sat in the kitchen room last night, right? And like, I obviously love my family a lot, right? But our couch is here, right? And our telly is right in front of us. And I had Fionn on one side of me, listening to one Mart. And I had Park on the other side of me, listening to a different Mart. And I was trying to watch something on the telly, and I was also finishing off. So I have my laptop on my lap, like finishing off something. And I actually had to say to them, lads, you're going to have to leave the room, or I'm going to have to leave the room. I love you both dearly, but something here now, it was coming at me from all sides. I couldn't cope with it. I was like, I don't care what the cattle are making. I don't care.
Well, if it's any consolation, I was listening to a sheep Mart last night, a sheep one. So they were astronomical prices.
All that carry on, but Jesus. I told him I was going to get him headphones for Christmas because I cannot cope.
I bought John headphones 2 years in a row. I'm like 2 years in a row for Christmas.
I love it.
I
wonder who's more cognizant totally going to get my headphones for Christmas.
Oh God. That's so funny, so funny. But yeah, on top of the extra noise level, Paige she's been great. She's absolutely loving preschool. But she has just been having a lot of meltdowns. And like, so much so I'm trying to do whatever I can to avoid them. But as a result, I'm on tenterhooks. Like this evening, for example, and this just goes to show I asked her, do you want me to take off your shoes? And she goes, sure. And hands me her foot, right? And as I go to take off her shoes, she goes, no, my shoe. And like takes it back. And I'm like, the fact that you gave me your foot and said, sure, I kind of thought it was a go ahead. So I'm like, I'm living life on the edge. I feel like I'm in fight or flight. And I spoke to my friends the other day and I was like, please tell me that this is normal. Like, please tell me that this kind of is just a phase, because she's going through that like mind phase, right? And I was like,
100%.
You will be on edge for a while.
A little while. And then you wake up some morning and you won't even realize that little phase has passed and it's moved into this new one. And you're like, when did what?
Yeah.
When did this happen? It's the most bizarre. Like I was only thinking back the other day, right? And like, obviously, like I'm very biased, but Fionn is cool. Like he's just a cool kid in fairness. And like he's really used to me being at home, right? And coming home from school and I'm here, or like I'd just be in the rugby club, or I wouldn't be a million miles away, and like dinner would be cooked and the heating would be on. But it's used to people being around. And obviously now I'm not at home. So it's very, very different. And the dynamic in the house has changed an awful lot. But like, Park's in the sitting room, maybe slagging me now. I actually think he's coping better with it than Park is, to be honest.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. Like he'll ring every evening. Where are you, Mommy? And what are you doing now? And any funny stories for me today?
Okay.
Like, how was your day? How did you get on today?
Oh my God.
He's
like your bestie.
Oh, he actually is. He is my little best friend. And do you know what I thought was hilarious there? And I never even thought about it, right? If Fionn wants to send me a message or I'm looking for him, I'll ring him or I'll text him on Snapchat, because that's what he uses. That's his outlet. Like he has WhatsApp. He's one family group, like our family group on it. That's it, right? So I was in work the other day and we had a mishap with a slushy machine. Note to everybody, slushy dies. It stains.
Oh,
everything.
No.
Giant blue hands because our slushy machine exploded. Anyway, I went, 4 days. 4 days, I looked like a smurf. And I give out tickets as part of my job. like, between the flat Carlo accent and giant blue smart pants, I was getting really interested. Looks like I'm not
Oh
quite
my
sure,
God.
but he sent me a message, so I replied to it, and I put my phone down on the counter, and I wasn't paying much odds. Like, you know, he was asking me something, I answered, and I threw it down, and one of the lads went, "Oh my God, that is so cool! You text your son on Snapchat." It's like, sorry.
Yes,
I know, it's
yes,
cool,
I
mommy.
do.
Yeah, and he was like, "I'm cool. I'm down with cool kids."
Oh God. So in a few years' time, I'm going to have to re-download Snapchat and become cool again. Is that what you're telling me?
100%. And I know this sounds a little bit stalkerish, but sometimes he has his notifications turned on, and I like the fact that I can see. Do you know, like if he's going, like say the other night he went into this car meetup thing with a friend of his, but like it was 9:00, and like I knew where he was going, I knew who he was with and all, but I liked knowing that I could just have a little look, that I knew where he was, and he was safe.
Of course. And does he have the snap maps on and stuff like that? Like, can you check him there?
He does. If he's going to something like that, he does. If he's at home, he doesn't. Now we do have an app on his phone that I can see, which is quite ironic because I used to be slagging to death my sister about having that on her kids' phones, and I was like, I'm never going to do that. But
oh no, come here, like if I could put a microchip in my girls, you bet your ass I'm doing it.
Oh, 100%. Like, who was telling me the other day that they
I do with the horse, like as in I know the horse have microchips, but like I have a camera on the horses anyway. I'm like stalking them. Yeah, any chance.
Oh, 100%. Do you have cameras in your stables? Speaking of stalking,
I have one camera at the moment that I got 24 hours. I set it up 24 hours after Zara had the foal. Yeah. We had to get the Wi-Fi sorted and Joanna right out, and I was like, oh, she's not due for another 3 weeks, and then of course she went early. But I so I have one, and I moved it out to the field when I wanted to keep an eye on what was happening out there. And then I have it back in the stables now for Mom. She was using it to look after the dog and the pup or whatever, or the pups. And then
we have to get back to that in a second.
Yes. It is down as my ride of the week, so we can touch on it then. But multitasking, efficiency. But it came in really handy the night because Dawson, do you remember I was saying the last time? I think Dawson had an abscess the last time I was talking to you, and he was dealing with it. Well, it took him a couple of weeks for it to kind of break out. I was poulticing it. I eventually gave him an antibiotic. He had to have another one. The vet came out to have a look at him, and by the time the vet came out to have a look at him, it had actually broken out, thankfully. But he's also been barefoot, and he's really struggling with it. Like he's really he's just struggling with it. He's just soft in his feet, like, and because he's had the shoes on and they've been pulled off, it's making it worse. So I feel like we have to get over this kind of hump. So I'm trying my best to keep him comfortable anyway. But he colicked last week, one of the nights about 11:30. I had gone to bed and Mom rings me and she was like, look, I think you need to come down. Dawson is not right. And I was like, oh my God, because it's not like him. You know what I mean? Like he's so straightforward. And when thankfully, like he was fine. She had him out walking around, and I was just looking to see what he wanted to do, and he was grand. He was okay. And then I stayed with him for a couple of hours while he was out in the arena, and he just he wasn't rolling, he wasn't showing any signs of being anxious, and he just did a few he went up the whole long side just farting. And I was like, oh, okay, I think it might have been gas. I watched him have a drink. I gave him a few handfuls of hay when I thought he was settled enough and he was grand, but I was able to put the camera back on him that night and was able to watch him then every 20 minutes or every hour, initially every 20 minutes and then every hour afterwards. And I did that for another couple of nights just to make sure he was okay, and he was grand, thankfully. But oh my God, it just gives you just such peace of mind. Like what I have now is the Google cams. Yeah. It's like the Google Nest. So I have them in the girls' rooms as well as their monitors. So it means that I have everything on the one place on the phone. I can move the cameras around, you know what I mean? So like I can take that camera back here if I'm using it for something else. Like it's just very, very handy. So yeah,
I didn't have it last year, and I'm not quite sure where the horses are going to go this year. So, as in one of two sheds. It's not like we're 47 or anything now. Like, but I think I will this year because it'll be the first time. So, say last year, Pulsar and Annabelle and June were in together. And then, no, sorry, that was the previous year. And then last year, I had them kind of split because we were minding an older pony. So Polly Dan was looking after that one. Anyway, we had them split up. But excuse me, this will be the first year now that Theo is in with them. And sensitive little soul, bless his cotton socks. And Annabelle is not. And I can see what's going to happen. So I think I would prefer to actually literally be able to see what's going to happen. But I also think it will give me ferocious anxiety because I will be in Dundrum. So if something happens and I'm watching it on the camera, so I'm tossing up at the minute. Now I know Pádraig will be here, or like there's always somebody. Like, we're very lucky. So like I can always ask somebody to run down, or I could, you know, there'll always be somebody around. But I don't know if I'm playing up to my own.
Like, Mar? Like I have. So I think there's. Well, I'm going to say there's 8.5 horses in my yard at the moment. 9 if you want to bunch 2 of them together. But so I have 3 of them. What have I got? I've got Dawson Halley in stables, a stable there for Diego if he needs to come in because he's older, he needs to get fed. And then Zara and Zena are kind of in an open barn around the back. It's also manual, as in I have to give their hay manually, but then up in the corral, I have the rest of them. So there's 5 of them up in the corral, and they have a round feeder up there. And so that's how I manage that. And it just gets skipped out every day. They're on a kind of a pea gravel surface and they get skipped out every day. And then we let them out into the arena at nighttime to run around and lay on the sand and, you know, bits and pieces, just so they have a bit of a different surface and out time as well. So what's your kind of setup, or what's your winter routine looking like?
So last year I had them in both. There was 2 in an open shed and 2 in stables. What I have in my head that I might do this year is, because Pulsar and Theo are quite similar, as in they're both a little bit softer than the 2 mares. I think I'm going to try and split it so that the 2 of them can go out together, and then Annabelle and AJ can go out together because they're both very, very hardy, and like Annabelle won't be pushed off her feet and neither will AJ. But I know that Annabelle is very much the leader of the pack and she's the highest in the herd. So I don't really want her to get at Theo too much because he actually looks relatively, I'm half afraid to say it out loud, but he's looking well at the minute. Like he's holding his weight. He's really, now he also looks like some kind of a Frisian cow. You wouldn't know that he was grey. He's disgusting, and it's giving me ire looking at him, not going to lie. But he's not been ridden. There is no point in the wide earthly world in me clipping him. He's going to be off until after Christmas. Like, I'm going to rug him and he'll be fine. He'll be grand. It's me. Like, it's me going, oh my God, I can't cope with the dirt.
Yeah.
But if I can split it, and then I'm relatively lucky. There's the bit of the field that stays quite dry. So when the weather is okay, they can actually go in and out, but I can leave it open. They can have open grazing and come in and out, and I can swap them over. Yeah, now it sounds fancier than it is. It's corner of the field, but it works, and we make it work, and it's grand. Yeah. There's no like it is what it is. Hello, Fionny. Trying to say hello? No.
Hi, Fionny.
He's waving.
Oh, I'll take it.
Because it's about as good as it gets. We've hit the teenagers. But no, we are. I'm relatively set up for winter. I just want to get them in and get them set. Oh my God, Sarah, hello.
Hi, Fionny. How are you?
Good. I was just talking about you.
Any crack with the Marts? What's the sales like?
Expensive.
Yeah, husband says the same thing.
I don't know. Like, I just do not know. I do not know what we're raising. Fionny, I am actually doing a live stream. I'm not just chatting.
I thought you were saying, I don't know where you got them from, and I was like, well, it's off the ground a little bit more.
Nothing. He's setting up to play rugby. I'm like, you can't actually play rugby beside me. This is my job. Well, you can't. I won't be able to hear anything. So, come here. You have on the list Christmas versus Halloween.
No, that was
you. Are we having a Christmas off?
No, you had that.
That was me. Oh, yeah.
I didn't take it off because I was like, actually, do you know what I did for the first time today? I turned on Miracle on 34th Street. Like, I am Christmas obsessed. As soon as Halloween was over, like, I was just on the Christmas bus. No, I'm not massively, like, you know, my house isn't decorated and no. Like, I'm not, but I get the Christmas feeling and I love it and I want to embrace it. And today I was like, right. And so Brie had gone down for a nap. I think it was just me and Paige. Like, we're okay. What are we going to watch? And the next thing up pops the Christmas movies. And I was like, I wonder will Paige watch Miracle on 34th Street. It's like my favorite Christmas movie of all time. At least she watched about 20 minutes of it and then got bored. So I turned it off. I tried. I'll condition her. Don't worry. I'll condition her. But yeah, I walked into my mom's house the other day and there was, I walked in and I was like, oh my God, Mom, it smells like kitchen, or it smells like Christmas in here. She was after cooking a ham. And I was like, oh my God, that was it. That was like roll on Christmas. I love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, but what I wanted to bring up, because again, it hasn't left my mind, was hunting and hunt chasing. We are obviously hunt season has well and truly been started and in the middle of it. I wanted to find out what your experience was with hunting, but I also wanted to talk about the team chasing that they have in the UK. I would go to the UK to go do that team chasing. That looks like the absolute best crack.
It would be some crack. I am not a big hunter. I was never a big hunter. We're very, very lucky in Carlow. We have 2 hunts. So we have the Carlow Hunt and the Carlow Farmers. It's split. I don't know. I was a teenager, I think, when the hunt split. Both are hardy hunts. Like, they're hardy. Would have grown up doing a good bit of hunting. But it was never my thing. It was never, like, I would never be sitting at home going, oh, like, I can't wait to go hunting at the weekend. Or, like, I can't wait to see what this horse is like out hunting. Or, now, charity rides get me every time. Give me a charity ride every weekend. I love the crack. I love the development. I love the fact that everything is optional. That is one of my favorite things. I ain't gonna lie. I love it. Like, we would have grown up going to Dunnard and being in Dunnard, and unfortunately now Dunnard is closing. But like, there is something about rocking up at a charity ride and, like, you're meeting the people. She like hunting, like, you know, it's the same set of people. And, like, I know I always talk about Niamh and Kieran. And Niamh and Kieran, like, literally babysat me for 6 years solid. Like, 6 years. They listened to me crying, laughing, giving up, selling, coming back, the whole range of Murren's emotions they got for 6 whole years. But we used to go to charity rides. We used to do a good bit of charity rides. And actually, do you know what? Speaking of motherhood, right?
Yes.
Anybody that has ever done Innishteag charity ride, right? Now, it's my favorite one of the year. I adore going to Innishteag, but it's long. Like, it's the day now. Like, and Niamh Cal did Innishteag charity ride when her eldest daughter was 6 weeks old. We went out and she did the full entire charity ride. I don't know how she, like, I genuinely don't know how she did it. And not only that, she also babysat me for the whole entire charity ride. So because Annabelle was so used to going behind her horse Bailey, and Bailey is a saint. She's thoroughbred, and she's hilarious. She's cold-backed. And when you get up, you have to hope for the best for about the first 10 seconds. And then she will cross any land. She's just a legend. She's gorgeous. But I literally sat on Bailey's bum for 6 years solid. So where Bailey went, Annabelle went. So we had to be really, really careful, because if Neve was jumping something big and I didn't want to jump it, I'd have to actually walk in the opposite direction, because once Bailey took off, so did Annabelle. There was many Annabelle, this was even before Annabelle had AJ, so like she couldn't be turned out with anything. She would kill something in the field, but she used to share a stable with Bailey. She'd go out in the yard with Bailey. She'd share, like they were kindred souls, the pair of them, and they put up with myself and Neve really, really well, really well. All of our messing, they were hilarious, the pair of them together. But I would love to give Team Chasing a go. I don't know. Would you do the Antler challenge?
Oh, that looks beefy now. That looks like another level, doesn't it? I definitely love
brave enough for that, though, Sarah.
I don't know. Like, so when I was growing up, I didn't actually have a huge opportunity to hunt. Now, Abby, like my first horse, she was a hunter. Like, that's what she did before I got her. Like, she would have been the ideal one to go on, but probably because I was young and I was probably small and she was a bit big for me, I didn't hunt on her. I just didn't really have the opportunity. Nobody in the yard kind of went, and you know, it just wasn't really kind of there. And then, the only time I went hunting was actually with Lorraine from Two Horse Reviews. She got the loan of a horse for me because I didn't have anything. And again, because everything is like, it moves quick out hunting, you could be across all sorts of terrain. Mm-hmm. Like, if I had anything that was in any way light, I wasn't comfortable hunting them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, probably been a bit precious about them, but at the same time, you know, I'd have to put an awful lot of money and time and effort into them, and I was like, oh god, they'd never done it before. I think it's a silly, risky move, like, especially if they didn't need it. And we went out hunting one day, and Lorraine got me this loan of this horse, nice horse, bit of a tank, but like lovely, straightforward horse, whatever. But couldn't jump a ditch. Jumped into the ditches, like nosedived into them, and did it about three times. And then eventually it clicked. Now, the third time it did it, I hit the far side of the ground, like with my shoulder. So like I did come off, but it was at like ground level, whatever. So it was going on and hop back up again. And then every time after that, pinged up in the air over the ditch. So I was like, I just taught that horse how to go over a ditch. You can tell the owner I said you're welcome. But it was great, like, but it was going, it was quick, it was a bit hairy at times, and I was just, you know, I think if you're sat on the right horse and you have the right mentality, like, it's a great bit of fun. And I do believe that there's definitely a place for it within a horse's training. To have a horse that's a little bit backwards, like, it's phenomenal way of getting them going forward, you know. When I was younger, the only the only experience I had of that when I was younger was going behind somebody, taking a lead, going cross country over the hunter trials. That's kind of how I thought you did it when I was younger, but I suppose hunting is the organic way of doing it. But it was great. But the team chasing, I just love the fact that they're all hedges. You're just, because you know, okay, have you ever gone to like the West and you're going up through Connemara and you're looking across the fields and you can see all these walls and you're like, they're jumping. And you're like, how many strides did you fit in there? You could angle them, you could do this, that, and the other. And I was like, and then I saw it then with the team chasing. Oh my god, I would absolutely love to do it. So I think we'll try and organize. We'll pull in a few connects more for next year, and we'll see if we can organize it.
Oh, could you imagine Equitas on tour? I love it. Oh, that'd be some crack. Now that I would get behind. We have, so there's a hunt comes around here every year, right? And Park would have kind of grown up doing about hunting as well, like not a huge amount, but doing a bit of it. So he decided one year, I'll never forget, he was going to rent a horse, right? And Skeltons here in Carlow everybody got a horse in Skeltons, and you knew what you were getting, and like they teach you more about hunting than you'd ever know. They were cracking horses. But I was riding a pony belonging to his sister who had never hunted before, and she was riding a really strong little pony that she owned. So we got to a farm that's just down the road from us, and it was about kind of halfway, 3/4 way through the day, starting to get a bit dark. And I said to Elizabeth, look, my pony is Bet. Like, I think I'm just going to bring it back to Ballyharmon and stable it here. Like, it's had a good day. I think I'll end on a good note. And of course, Pádraig started slagging. And he said, oh yeah, you wouldn't jump the pallets I put up. Are they too big for you? You wouldn't be able for them. And I was like, no, I'm not letting my pride get in the way now. I've had a good day. It's all gone according to plan. There, I still actually howl laughing, right? So you jumped out through a ditch, right? And like a little gap that was made in the ditch.
Yeah.
And there was pallets afterwards, but you had to turn a hard left, and all the horses were galloping up the field. So Pádraig was on this really seasoned chestnut mare, knew exactly what she was doing. She would have brought her cell phone, like. So he went through the ditch and jumped the pallets, but he stayed going straight, and she turned left, and he landed in jumper position, like he fell off. In jumper position, and the horse was gone.
He got checked at his own pallets.
It must be 10 years ago, and I still laugh every time, because he wasn't hurt, the horse wasn't hurt, everything was fine, but it was just that there was so much like, oh, you wouldn't jump the pallets, and then he literally landed in jump position. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Funny. Before we forget, do you want to talk through the sponsors for this week's episode? We totally went straight in.
I went straight hardcore. We have amazing sponsors this week. So Aloga Equine and Arc Equine have come on board. We're very, very lucky. They have, I'm going to read out exactly what they've given us because it's amazing. So amazing that we've actually split it into two separate prices this week because we are very fortunate. So first of all, we have an Aloga Pro Mesh cooler. If you haven't seen these, have a little look at them. They're up online. They're stunningly beautiful, but also really practical. Very easy to wear, easy to wash. They're absolutely cracking coolers. Great for traveling or as an under rug. We also have a gift pack. I'm not going to lie, I kind of wanted to steal this myself, only I feel a little bit guilty. A little bit, right? There is mane and tail spray, hoof oil, hoof grease, spray shampoo, leather oil, leather cream, leather grease, and saddle soap.
Oh my God.
The whole lot, all in one. Yeah, they have been unbelievably generous. So thank you very much to Kirsty because she has organised that for us. So we have one question for this week and we'll have another question for hopefully next week and not in 4 weeks' time. But I am more organised in my life now.
We're going to do our best.
Yeah, we're trying, lads. We're trying. But no, so we have one question for tonight, but we just want to give a huge thank you to Aloga and Arc Equine for coming on board with us for what? I don't even know what episode are we on now, Sarah?
We're on episode 11, so they're going to sponsor episode 11 and episode 12.
Brilliant. So thank you very much to both of them. Very, very kind.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm just looking at one of the comments in there. Bernie Desert Dove is in with the right Rudolph. I'd love to do the Antler challenge. That's exactly what I'd be looking for now. That's exactly what I'd be looking for now. I couldn't have put it better myself.
Well, I won't be doing it on Theo, lads. I can guarantee that much.
Oh, God.
No.
I'd say Dawson would love it. You know that? He's so brave, actually. For all of the horses that I've trained and brought on and produced throughout the years, I sat on him and pointed him at a cross-country friends and he just went for it. I've never actually felt the horse so keen. And he's careful too. He's big, but he's not clunky. You know what I mean? He's quick in his feet too. So, yeah, I'd hopefully when he gets done with this kind of sore feet business, I can crack on a little bit with him. But yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, we'll put that on the bucket list, will we? It'll either cure us or kill us.
There'll be some rescue remedy playing that desert. That's all I know. No way.
Rescue remedy by the bucket list. Forget the rescue remedy. Go with the whiskey, for God's sake.
And have a hip flask of whiskey and rescue remedy. That'll be fine.
Exactly. Do you want to ask that question now, Mar, that we have in?
Yep.
I think you have access to it.
What advice would you give to other equine mothers trying to maintain their love for horses And I'm not even going to read out the way the rest of this question is written. Basically, trying to maintain their love for horses and maintain mental stability.
without losing their shit, basically, is that what you're trying to say? Have a gin, have a passion fruit martini.
Have a passion fruit martini. They're only 115
Drink sensibly, everybody. Drink sensibly. Sorry, we shouldn't be promoting alcohol.
Yeah. 100%, yes. No, it is a very good question though, because I think we do get very, very caught up. And I think one of my biggest learnings this winter has been not to feel guilty that my horses aren't being ridden. My horses are healthy, they are happy, they are contented. They don't want me sloshing around on the Minuet Arena in the middle of the winter. They don't care.
Yeah.
They just don't care. I care, but they don't care. But that took a lot. Like, I questioned my equestrianism. I questioned my sanity at some stage, because sometimes I need to sit up on a horse to clear my head. And it's that kind of I suppose that balance that I struggle with, because I obviously want to be a good mommy, but I also want to be a good mommy to my horses. And it's that
I actually read something recently, and I can't remember where I read it, but it was like basically saying that we strive for balance, but we never get it. And there is no such thing as balance. The same way in a marriage.
On a reel on TikTok.
It could have, I don't know, but it was basically relating it back to a marriage. They were saying that a marriage is never 50-50. And I thought that was really, because like you enter into a marriage thinking it's going to be 50-50. And a lot of the time, like some of the things within the marriage are 50-50, but in totality, the marriage is never 50-50. Sometimes it's 70-30 one way, sometimes it's 60-40 the other way. And there are times when you have to just go with the flow and, you know, hustle. One person will have to hustle, one person will have to kind of pick up the slack or whatever and do different things. And I think it's the same with equestrianism and motherhood. The biggest thing, now obviously, like I have been steeped in this for the last 2 months, 3 months, however long I've been kind of working on this wholeheartedly. But
would you like to tell people why, Sarah?
Well, because a book has been released.
Lads, Sarah has written a book. She is an amazing woman, and she will Sarah.
I haven't written a book. I've put a book together. It's probably a more accurate way of saying it.
It is amazing.
I got talking to I got talking to some of the most amazing women, and people were and it's no surprise. Like, I mean, women are so giving with their information and their advice. And like, I mean, I hounded a few people, and I hounded WhatsApp groups, and I hounded Facebook groups, and I got like loads of different answers, but people were so generous with what they came back with, you know what I mean? And they got kind of like, I'm not going to say personal as in like too much information or anything like that, but like they got real. And I was like, that's so authentic. It just felt really, really authentic. And I just loved that side of it. But the biggest thing to probably, and the advice that I would pass on, is just to have that flexibility. Like when you try and put a time, a task, a target, even a schedule, like into play without flexibility, it just will drive you insane, and it will make you feel like you're failing every step of the way, and you're not. It's quite the opposite, like so much so it's the exact opposite of that. And it's just,
I love that.
It's like, I'm talking, I'd say 90% of the women that came back to me when I asked them what their biggest challenges were, it was time management was number one. And right behind it, I'd love to actually get the figures on it, and I should, right behind it was mom guilt, because of that striving for balance and not being able to achieve it. And I just thought, like, we have to just cut ourselves a little bit of slack and understand what it is that we're doing here. Like, we're raising and nurturing and like producing live beings. So, like, it's just incredible.
Little mini humans. So, it is hard work.
Yeah. And then I saw something else that said, if you're finding it hard work because you care, because you're trying to give it everything that you have. So the fact that you're even going, oh my God, this is hard, is not a sign of a weakness. It's not a sign of, this should be easier. I should be better able to cope, or, all of that. It's actually, I'm finding this hard because I care and I want to do a good job. You know what I mean? So it's just a testament to either your compassion or your, I'm looking for a word and I can't find it, but it's like, how you, what's the word? It'll come back to me as soon as we go off this live stream. But it's like, just to know that you're diligent and you want to just do the best. Conscientious, what the word I was looking for. It came back eventually. And I just feel like I was just so inspired and humbled by the women that came back to me. I really were, you know what I mean? So it was an incredible experience being able to put the book together. And I just want to thank everybody that was involved in it. And of course, anyone that checks it out and buys it and writes a review, all of that. So yeah, it's been, and like, we didn't shout about it in advance because we didn't know if it was how it worked. Like, how does it work publishing a book? You know what I mean? It's I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, finish it, let alone actually be able to kind of like put everything in place to be able to do it. Well, I'm glad you didn't. I kept going. And like, that's been in the background for a number of months. And I just kept saying, right, every evening that I was working on it, every day that I worked on it, I was like, I'm moving the needle a little bit. I'm moving it a little bit. And I had to have that level of flexibility with it. I couldn't have a deadline on it. I couldn't have we launch on this date. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what women should take from this, that I didn't announce it was coming or when it was coming, or, and I took that pressure off me. And that has probably what has been enabled me to actually do it. Not,
And do you think if you were going, if this was a year ago, and you were doing the same, do you think you would have allowed yourself that flexibility?
No. Like, up until 2 or 3 months ago, I wasn't allowing myself that flexibility. I was trying to be military. And I'm not saying military as in I wasn't, like, I was losing the plot if I wasn't able to get stuff done. Do you know what I mean? But mentally, and I'd be frustrated. And I certainly wasn't. I was definitely more stressed. There's no doubt about it. Like, these last number of months, I've been way less stressed. Like, even, not having as many meetings on the diary and just trying to jump on a call when we get a chance. And, that has all really, really helped. It's just pure flexibility. And like, it's the only thing that I can say is your best friend, and the biggest advice I could probably give to anybody looking at motherhood and equestrian. Just to be clear, I know horses like routine, but like they also throw a spanner in the works. So we have to be flexible.
Exactly. But I think even like as Equitas grows and as we grow within Equitas, like, we are taking so many learnings from this, and so many, like, if this was a year, 6 months ago, we would have been like, right, dates, timeframes, planning, one after the other. But we've learned and we're growing, and we all know now what way we work and what way we work best.
Yeah.
And how we can even work with each other and, right, okay, what do you need? When do you need a bike? Sound grand.
But like, Jesus, it nearly took me to have a mental breakdown to be able to go, slam on the brakes here. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was frustrated with myself. The irony in this, I was frustrated with myself that I hadn't copped it sooner, that I was getting close to burnout. Do you know what I mean? That I was getting kind of like overwhelmed by things, and I was getting it done and I was still enjoying it. But I was like, and it was funny that when we kind of paired it back, I was like, even more. And it just shows like what we're doing. Like, I'm happy with what we're doing. What we're doing is amazing. And what we're even like outside of this, like how my life is, I love it. Like, but it compounded that for me. But I just needed to just I just needed to add more flexibility. That was basically it. Like, it was, a page starting preschool that added a layer of time. And, I had to get, appointments in and stuff like that for them and for me. And, even the dentist again, I had to go back to the dentist on Thursday. It's so annoying. Like, they couldn't do my filling the last time I was there. I was like, I am like so pushed for time. So, anyway, I digress. But yeah, that's definitely the biggest advice. And I just think, yeah, we don't always see it, that we've lost flexibility until we feel it. And we have to readdress it and go back. So yeah, that would be
100%. And you know what? Tom said something to me a couple of weeks ago. And we were basically having a conversation around being flexible. And he was, I'm not going to say he was giving out to me. He wasn't giving out to me, but he was mentoring me about being hard on myself and trying to basically putting pressure on myself and trying to be all things to all people when it wasn't. And I was ending up being a bit of one thing to one person and not being enough for another part. And I just couldn't, I just wasn't able. And he said to me, do you know what? In a couple of weeks, you're going to be sitting in work and you're going to think, I'd love an apple. I really want an apple. I was like, Tom, where are you going with this? I don't eat apples. What are you talking about? I know. I was completely lost. Where did this apple come from? But he said, that's not what I mean, Mary. He said, what I mean is your body is going to tell you what to eat. Your body, you have to learn to listen to it. And I don't know if, like, I am not very good at listening to my body at the best of times. I get to that point and then I go, oh, Jesus, I'm a bit tired.
Yeah.
Like, I had Sunday off. Monday, what day is today? Tuesday. Yesterday. I basically slept pretty much, like, and I didn't actually realize how much I needed it. And who, like, I never go back to bed. Once I'm up, and that's me done. But I got up and I went, no, I don't feel very right here now. And I actually slept. But I had to convince myself that was okay. That just because I was in bed,
you have to justify it.
But that was all right. That was what I needed. And I woke up in better form and I was productive and I got my jobs done and Fiona's alive and Park is alive and animals are alive and it's all okay.
Yeah.
But I had to convince myself, like, and take a little step back and go, that's all right. Like, you can have a sneeze. You are not lazy. You are not just like...
No, God forbid an equestrian would be fucking lazy, like, Jesus Christ.
I couldn't. Somebody said to me the other day,
I've been labelled lazy. Like,
somebody said messing, like genuinely messing. Oh, I bet you're really lazy. And I had to literally go, now, Warren, step back.
It's like the worst thing you could have called me ever.
Oh, call me lazy.
Oh, God. Bernie's back in here. She said it's a juggling act and we were all going to drop the odd plate and that's fine too. Yeah, I suppose, like, I mean, yeah, it's a good way of thinking about, like, you'll drop the plate, like, well, what about it? It's another one. Before we wrap up, I want to run through a game that I want to try with you. I'm not sure I actually explained what this game is, but let's do it anyway for the crack. Okay. And then we need to do our rights and wrongs. So the game is, you need to go back through the last 5 photos in your camera roll and tell us what they are. I'll go first to give you a second. And I haven't, and bear in mind, this has been on the agenda for the last 4 weeks. So it has obviously changed. Okay, so the most recent one is a photo I took of my nieces and nephews came out at the weekend. So I have a picture of Savina, Bree, Paige, and Reese all chilling. Oh, and a puppy. I forgot the puppy was there. The next one is, it's a screenshot of the congratulations, the Equestrian Motherload is now live that I took and sent to you guys. I have what? Oh, okay. So the next one is Paige asleep on the floor.
Paige asleep on the floor.
She fell asleep. This is one of her meltdowns. She fell asleep on the couch, which she never does. She was obviously just wrecked. And then she woke up, had another meltdown straight away, and then fell asleep on the floor straight away. Like, didn't want me near. So she obviously wasn't ready to wake up, took exception to that, fell asleep on the floor, and she's in the middle of the kitchen asleep on the floor for about 10 minutes. Then she woke up and she was in great form. She just needed to Exactly. And then the last one is Tag. So Tag is John's gun dog. She's I'm gonna say she's an English setter crossed with a Llewellyn. I don't know if anyone knows what that looks like. She's kind of like the body of a red setter, but really, really short hair. And she's an absolute pet, but she got very thin very quickly from, I'm assuming, the weather. And she eats double what the other two eat. Like the other two are collies. She eats double what they have anyway. And she wasn't kind of keeping the weight on. So I got her a coat. I got her a waterproof coat. And she absolutely loved it. But you know what I did, Mar? Oh my God. The first night she wore it, right? I said to John, pop it on her. And he was like, will you leave it on her tonight? I was like, yeah, because it's cold. But they stay all in the one kennel. So there's 3 of them in a big kennel. And like, I'm assuming it gets warm in there. You know what I mean? So I woke up at 1:15 at night after having a dream that Tag met me at the door, dripping wet with sweat. And then she was cold. She had gotten a chill. And then she was sick. That's what I woke up with. So I was like, damn it. I have to go down and check on her. So I went down. I pulled them out of the kennel, put my hand on her, and if anything, she was still a bit cool. Like, she obviously was really, really feeling the cold, because, like, even though she had her coat on, she was warm, but she wasn't, like, super warm. Certainly not as warm as I probably would have liked her. So anyway, I have another one on order for her. So she's going to have two sets of jammies. The neighbors are all like, what's the story with the dog? I'm like, she's special. I was like, she's special.
She's cold.
Like, she's a gun dog. She's supposed to be hardy, and she's not, bless her. She's not one bit hardy. She's a little softy. So come on, tell us yours. What's your five photos?
My first one is actually my drink tonight. Because I was sending it to one of the lads, slagging. My second one is a screenshot of Shane Duffy's number, because I was trying to organise somebody to lead up a horse in the sales farm. So I was sending them Shane's number. There's a horse selling in Goffs on Friday. The third one is Shane's actual horse that he is selling on Friday. The next one is a tractor run that's been organised by Collection Ladies Football Team, because that seems to be what I do.
A great
cause. Actually, this is a kind of cool one. So this year is the first time in 23 years that Carlow Rugby Club has had a standalone women's rugby team. So we had one for a cracking team for years in combination with college, the Coyotes, and they went to AIL. They were a brilliant rugby team. But this is the first one that we've had on our own, and they made it into our local newspaper today. And I was very proud of them, because this girl here in the middle, Doireann Slater, it's her first year playing rugby. All of her brothers play rugby, but it's her first year playing, and she scored a hat-trick at the weekend, and she is Sarah, you should see her. Oh my God.
Like, nailing it.
That woman would do the Antler challenge. She is unreal.
I love it.
Absolute legend. So a lot of mine are tractors and rugby, and horses, obviously.
That's perfectly fine. Mine was kids and dogs. Okay, so on to our rise and wrongs of the week. Go for it.
So I can't remember what I wrote on the sheet now, but my wrong of the week is traffic. I really, really dislike traffic. Not because I actually have to sit in the traffic, because I get bored. And I end up like counting cars and listening to silly, but I see squirrels, my brain goes into overload. Then I get like 57 ideas of things that I should be doing and get frustrated because I'm sitting in traffic and I can't do them. And so I really dislike traffic. But my ride of the week, and this is quite random. So I saw a photo of myself the other day, right? That Carly actually took while I was sitting behind box office in the rink. And my posture was awful. Like, awful. It was really, I had a long day. My shoulders are up. I was all tense, but I was really crouched over. And so I ordered myself, it's like a, I know. It's like a sports bra, and you pull it, and it straightens your shoulders. And I love it.
Does it work for you?
Yeah, that would hurt.
Amazing. So that's not your wrong of the week. That's your right of the week.
I'm like, every time I look at myself now, I'm like, look at those shoulders. I love it.
That's brilliant. I love that. Yeah. It's definitely an issue.
It was really annoying me, now I have to say. And again, it took the photo for me to go, oh God, I really need to do something about that. But I was very pleased with myself. What are yours there?
Well, mine is, so as we alluded to earlier on, the dog that my mom and dad are fostering, the pocket bully, she had her pups. She had 8 pups. I can't remember if we announced that or not. Anyway, it was about they were almost 3 weeks old, so maybe we didn't. So she had to have a C-section, so it was a kind of a long 24 hours where mom was monitored and stuff like that. The place where she got it done was brilliant, and then got them home. Now we've since lost one of the wee pups. He just wasn't kind of thriving. Mom was feeding him and doing bits and pieces, and he just kind of, apparently they call it puppy fade. I don't know if that's the thing or whatever, but that's basically what happened. The rest of them seem to be thriving, thanks be to God, and she is doing brilliant. But my ride of the week specifically is that mom went, so because they're getting bigger and bolder and they're pooping and they're this, that, and they're getting harder to kind of manage, and they're still in this kind of like puppy like crate, if you want to call it. Crate, and mom is having to clean out a lot of bedding and wash it non-stop. So I said, Mom, like, we need to put them on a bedding, like, of sorts. And you're not supposed to put them on shavings because of the dust or whatever in them. So I was like, well, why not go with paper shavings? And so I found a place in Dunboyne that does it. Mom went up yesterday to get it. And the woman, there was nobody in the yard. So Mom called into the house. And she had rang ahead, whatever, but there was nobody there. So the Mom said, look, I'm here. I'm here just to try 2 bags of the paper, the shredded paper, whatever. And she says, what do you need them for? And Mom says, well, it's for dog. I'm fostering a dog and she's had her pups, whatever. And I feel like they're ready to kind of migrate over to an actual bedding rather than quilts. And she said, who did you foster them from? And Mom says, my lovely horse rescue. And she says, what dog did you foster? And Mom was like, oh my God, like, where is this going? And she said, Carrie is her name. Now, I've noticed that my lovely horse rescuer, they're very good at updating people on the cases. And I said that to Mom. I said, that's really nice because people will become invested in it and then hopefully donate and help support. You know what I mean? And this woman was like, oh my God, you took that dog and helped her have her pups. She has been following her journey the whole time. And she's like, I can't believe you're standing in my kitchen. And she was like, oh my God, Mom said it just blew her mind that this woman knew the dog, knew the story, all of that. And she couldn't get over them, like that the person who fostered her was then standing in front of her. And of course, and she was like, Mom was like, how much do I owe you for the bag? She was like, no, absolutely not. She wouldn't take any money for the bags of shredded paper. Like, you just... like, this is their business. You know what I mean? And like, but I was like, isn't that just so kind of like the random kindness of people? And she was saying, I was so close to taking that dog myself, but I just didn't feel like I was in the capacity to be able to do it. And only for people like you. And it's just so lovely. Like Mom keeps reading the comments underneath the videos that get posted. Like, and people are just like, oh my God, like, just the foster families, the volunteers, all of them, like they're just so selfless, kind of those kind of people. And I was just like, well, that's definitely my ride of the week, 100%.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love that. There is good people in the world.
There really is. And then my wrong of the week, which is quite different, is dream properties. I must have clicked into some dream property that was for sale at some point on my Instagram. Because now I'm getting absolutely plagued with these phenomenal yards and houses and setups that are available. And it's driving me insane. Because it's our yard. Like, it's still very much in the early process. But I'm like, stop looking at these, Sarah. Like, stop doing it. And it's just a mild form of torture. But yeah, they've gotten me. The algorithm has got me for sure. It's ridiculous.
It is, but it's also beautiful. Like, sometimes I look at them and go, oh, I don't know if I'd want them.
No, I take ideas. From individual things. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'll rob that one, or I'll take this one. So yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there one day, more. We'll get there. But I was like, stop! This is coming at me. I was like, enough.
In your stupid, beautiful house.
Exactly. Oh, look. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Can we thank our amazing sponsors again, Arca Equine and Aloga Equine, for sponsoring the kind prizes. We have enough to do for 2 episode sponsorships, so thank you so much. We'll be back again hopefully next week at the same time, but let's add flexibility to the menu. Will I just name this episode flexibility?
I think we should. I think we should. Make episode 11 more flexibility. What we do, guys.
Yeah, look, we're incredibly grateful to our sponsors for coming on board and just supporting us, backing us, enjoying what we're doing, and obviously then giving gifts and stuff like that to the listeners as well. So really, really appreciate it, and thank you ever so much.
Over and out, sir.
Over and out. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you again, and I really, really missed it. So let's go with next week.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, sir.